Hey Yoga fam, Jessie here for a little gentle movement and rest today. So it's not quite going to be a restorative yoga class, and it's not quite going to be an active yoga class. We're going to do some stretching, some easy movements, some breath awareness, and then we're going to take some time to lie down and rest for quite a bit. So if you're into that, let's do it. We're gonna need a small pillow or a bolster and a blanket or a towel. So something that you can cushion your knees with or use in some of the other ways we might use them today. And to get started, we're just gonna come into an easy seated shape. I'm sitting back with my heels under my butt. That might not be comfortable for you. One option to get more comfortable would be to cushion your knees or shins with a blanket. And then something I've been into lately that you may or may not like is taking your smaller pillow or bolster and kind of just sitting on it between your hips and your heels. And if that's not comfortable, if there's another way you want to sit, help yourself. I invite you to take a few breaths out if you want. Maybe fluttering your lips or letting your tongue come out a little bit. And if it feels safe, you might want to let your eyes close or your eyelids get heavy. Now that you've taken a few breaths, notice where in your body are you aware of your breath? Can you breathe a little deeper in and out through your nose? It might be interesting to try and fill all the way up into your belly or low back or sides of your ribs as you breathe. It might also be interesting or grounding to breathe to an even count. So just inhaling and noticing, maybe you count to 5, and then see if you can exhale completely to that same count of 5. The number can shift if you need it to. I always try to change the number on the inhale as opposed to the exhale because I think it's harder to inhale longer than it is to exhale a little longer. Your breath might start to become audible. Don't be afraid of that. As a matter of fact, we can use the sound of our own breathing to anchor ourselves in a here and now experience. And what is it like to just think inhale? As you watch yourself, think exhale. Keep everything the same. Drop your chin towards your chest. If you'd like, you could roll your head side to side, stretching your neck and shoulder or the space around your ear. Feel free to pause anywhere that's interesting or sensation rich. And then the next time you have your left ear towards your left shoulder, pause there. It doesn't matter what side you do, but I'll cue left ear to left shoulder for clarity. While maintaining a stretch here, you might notice that you feel it like all the way down into your pec or into your arm. If you let your right arm hang towards the floor, you might get even more stretch. Or depending on how long your arms are, you might be able to push into the floor. And then roll your chin back through the middle. Take a few breaths through center, and then roll the other way. Second side might be different sensations, different parts of your neck or side body or torso. And so continue with this idea of what you're aware of in your body via the breath. I like to imagine my breath as a little translator between, my thinking mind and my feeling body. So as you add, maybe letting your arm hang or any other movements here, notice what continues to unfold via breath awareness. Even if the awareness is like, I'm not paying attention to the breath, even that is good. Eventually find your way back through the middle. Maybe a couple more rolls of the neck. We're going to transition into some spinal waves. So almost like cat and cow. Reach your chest through your arms, open up, and then push your back behind you, arch your spine, tuck your chin. Couple more rounds of this. You could also move wiggles side to side or make some figure eights with your body. I like to imagine I'm a little animal. It's just waking up. And then one more little stretch. Your feet might be falling asleep. You might have to change how your legs are here. We're going to bring one arm down to the side and reach the other arm up over your ear. Press into the floor and let your side body go to the side. Exaggerate this movement. And then come back through the middle. I'm crawling through center. You don't have to. You could just come back through neutral if you'd like for a breath or two. Go the other way. And then come back up. We're going to find hands and knees. Come into a tabletop position. So you can move your cushion or pillow off to the side for a bit. Feel free to keep a blanket under your knees. And then with our shoulders over the wrists, hips above the knees, we're going to move through cat and cow, some spinal waves. See if you can breathe into where you're finding movement. Salute, excuse me. So not just moving, but seeing if your breath can lead the way. Come back through center. Step your left foot back behind you. And notice if when you step your foot back, if your shoulders shifted. They probably did. I know mine did. We're going to keep our shoulders stacked over the wrists. So press down into your into your hands. Hug your forearms. And see if you can root with the shoulders while you step your foot back. It might feel like a shorter step. That's okay. Shoulders stay over the wrists. Your back heel is over the ball of your back foot. And then put a little bend in your long leg. Reach your heel away from your head. Draw your belly button up towards your back. Breathe. That's it. Try to get longer front to back. Maybe even if you're looking for a little balance challenge and a little heat building in the body, you could come up to your right fingertips. You could even reach your right arm forward. Hug your shoulders together, long, strong spine, and then exhale, hand and foot to the floor. Move things around a little. If you want, you can come onto the backs of your forearms and hands. Give your wrists a little stretch and release, and move through cat and cow here, which will feel a little bit different. Oh. Nice work. We'll come back up to tabletop and then step the right foot back behind you. So that time you might have more intuitively stayed stacking the shoulders, but make that adjustment if you need to, line things up a little bit. And then again, with a little bit of bend in the back leg is going to help you charge the muscles of the leg up as you stretch them. That's a great way to get a stretch in the body. Head moves away from hips. Low belly draws up towards the spine. Deep, full breath. Again, option to come up onto your fingertips of the opposite hand. Maybe reaching your arm forward. Breathe. And when you're ready to release, we're going to come into child's pose. So toes come together, knees come apart. I'm going to adjust my blanket here. And that's an invitation for all of you as well. If you need to adjust anything, if you want to grab your bolster and bring it under your chest and belly. We'll take a few breaths. Walk yourself back up to hands and knees. And I'm going to turn towards the camera to show this, but you can just stay facing the front of your mat. I don't want to be confusing. Maybe that will be confusing. Okay, we'll come back to tabletop. This time we're going to step the left foot back behind us. Keep your shoulders stacked over the wrists. Low belly moves up towards the back. And then swing your right leg off the edge of your mat to the right. Spin your left foot down flat on the floor. And then reach your left arm up over your ear. Kind of like we did when we were sitting before. So imagine that. Exaggerate reaching your hips and side body towards the ceiling. Open up. That's it. One more deep, full breath. And then come all the way back, hands and knees. Take a moment. Feel free to flip the forearms, roll the wrists out. And then we'll go the other way. Right foot steps back, left foot swings off. Right foot flattens, and then right arm reaches away from the ground. Your side body pushes up towards the ceiling. Deep inhales and exhales. And when you're ready, hands and knees find the floor. Sit back on your heels. We're going to roll the wrists out a little bit. So you could make circles or figure eights. I like to write the alphabet with my wrists. It gets all points of articulation without having to repeat or think too hard. You can also do flashlights if you want. That'll strengthen your forearm muscles and hands. Okay. And then come back down onto your hands and knees. We're going to take a revolved child's pose. So for this, you might want your bolster or pillow or another blanket or a block if you've got one. We're going to reach the right arm under the left one and let our left head or shoulder rest on something. You're going to want to tuck your chin a little bit. And then see if you can reach your outer hips back behind you. And stay open in the chest and shoulders. Deep breath. Couple more full rounds. Notice where your breath is moving. What is there to be aware of in your body? And then come back through center, take a moment there. Maybe some cat and cow, some neck movements, maybe a child's pose for a breath or two. And then we'll go the other way. Don't hesitate to adjust your props, to move where they are, to add or subtract them. And then come into the twist. When you're ready, you might want to stay there a little longer. We'll come out of that shape and meet up in a child's pose for another few rounds of breath. Any variation you want, props, no props. Now sometimes it takes a couple of adjustments to get where you want to be. That's okay. And give yourself a few more breaths in this child's pose. And then wherever you are, walk your arms over to the left. Press your hands into the floor or the mat. Reach your hips back. And then walk yourself through center. And over to the right. And come back through the middle. Help yourself up. We're going to come onto our backs. We're going to be there for the rest of our time together today. So, your blanket or towel can be for under your head and neck, and your bolster or pillow can be for under your knees. We won't need it there quite yet, but that's kind of how I'm going to set myself up when I get onto the floor. Whenever we're lying down, we want to try to have our chin a little lower than our forehead. So one thing I like to do when I put a blanket under my head and neck is tuck the corners in towards the middle. Yeah, so that I get a little head cradle, and you might notice that changed that angle. That's good. It helps support our parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest portion of our CNS, our central nervous system. That'll help us relax, so we want that. Just take a moment on the ground. You can have your hands on your body or out to the side. You can do whatever you want with your legs. Come back to breathing. Maybe you're doing that equal parts breath, or you're just watching yourself watch yourself. If they're not already there, bend your knees, bring your feet on the floor. You may or may not need to move your prop for that. And cross your right ankle over the left thigh. A little figure 4 pose here. And we'll start by moving side to side in this shape. activate your top leg, press your ankle into your thigh, and see if you can use that to get more sensory awareness, probably in your top hip, but maybe lots of places in the body. Come back through the middle, and you could stay right here, or you could bring your knees in and hold behind your left thigh. Neither of those is better. It'll just stretch different parts of your leg, so feel free to explore that. And then also you could explore side to side if you lifted the legs. So that same action here might give you different awareness. Even another option would be extending the bottom leg, maybe rolling out your ankle, but only if it adds in a way that feels productive. We don't want to overwhelm ourselves, so no rush, no obligation, just curiosity. We're going to come towards a half happy baby pose. So if you don't already have your right leg lifted, we're going to pick it up and either hold the foot on the pinky edge or around the back of the thigh. Either way, your knee is bent to 90 degrees and the bottom of your foot is flat towards the ceiling. If you've got your foot in your hand or your thigh and your forearm, push them into one another. See if you can activate your whole leg. Your other leg can be straight or bent. And again, we could move a little bit side to side. We could extend and rebend the knee a couple of times if we wanted to. And then we're going to release. Right leg down, next to the left. Just take a couple of breaths. Can you stay with that present moment experience of listening to your breath? And then whenever you're ready, right knee bends, left ankle over top, second side. And so all of those same options we just went through potentially exist here. But I know in my own body, hip stretching is very different side to side. So don't be surprised if you need or want totally different things with your other leg on top. And as a matter of fact, I think that connection to yourself, learning to be your own best teacher, and guiding yourself from the inside out is going to be more effective than just doing what I'm doing or what, you've always done. And seeing like what exists in the here and now that I don't need to go outside of myself to find. What is already here for, with, and in me. And so maybe you do all the same stuff and maybe not. Maybe you do totally different actions on this side. Take as much time as you need, and when you're ready, legs come out in front of us. And a couple of breaths here. And then give yourself a few rounds of breath in something symmetrical. So just lying on your back is symmetrical. You could bring your feet together and your knees apart for reclined bound angle symmetrical stretch. You could bring your knees up towards your chest, curl up a little bit and rock around. Perhaps a full happy baby pose is interesting to you after we did half happy baby pose. you could do something totally different than what I said. But we're going to set up for Savasana, our final relaxation pose. We're going to be here for a little bit. So make sure you're comfortable. If you have a different position you'd rather spend a few minutes in, feel free to put your legs up on a couch or on a chair, to lie on your side or throw your legs up the wall if you want. Definitely adjust your head and neck until they feel comfortable. Pro tip, if you wear glasses like I do, you may want to take them off and set them aside somewhere safe. Actually, that's not a safe place there. On a shelf or somewhere you're not going to roll on them when you're done with Savasana. Get comfortable. Even if it's not comfortable in your mind to do so, that's okay. When we support ourselves, it sends a message to the whole universe that we are available to be supported. Give yourself a couple more breaths. Maybe breathing out heavy or fluttering your lips, relaxing the muscles in your face. And for a little while, there's nothing to do but rest and breathe. Notice yourself breathing on the floor. Take a couple of full rounds of inhale and exhale. And move any way that feels good. Stretching your arms up overhead or your feet away from your hands. Maybe hug your knees in and curl up or rock around a little. And then roll over to one side. Pause for a breath or two. And then use your hands to help yourself up. And come to a comfortable, easy seated position to end our time on the mat together. You can let your hands rest on your knees or in your lap. If you want, you can bring your hands somewhere in front of or over your heart. I like to bow my chin towards my chest and lift my chest towards my chin as a gesture of gratitude. Not just for myself and my practice, because yes, that, but also as a gesture of gratitude for anything I'm grateful for the lineage of this practice, for my teachers that shared it with me, and for you out there, sharing it with yourselves, with each other, and back with me. And thank you so much. Hail yourselves, yogis, and have an awesome rest of your day.